So basically, he talks about the protective self, right? So we are our authentic self. And the whole thing with whole again is that authentic self, we get severed from it. We begin living life out of a protective self that's not really us. So then we begin deconstructing it. We begin deconstructing it with awareness, meditation, mindfulness, compassion, right? So we begin deconstructing it. But what he's basically saying is eventually, as we're deconstructing it, we're kind of addressing it differently. We used to hate it, right? In fact, this is what I put together to explain this. This is the trauma. This is the core wound, right? This is toxic shame. And it's all these are like our neural pathways. It's like a car crash in the body. These are negative beliefs. These are negative emotional states. These are all of the memories. This happened, then that happened, then they said this, and then this, and then this. This is all the story. We would love to reach in and throw it, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? But we can't. So when we're in recovery and we're deconstructing the protective self with our compassion and our mindfulness, it's like a knot we're loosening. And all of a sudden, a piece comes free, right? This piece comes free, we're working on it. And we're working on it, and then it's coming out little by little, and then it's done. And we're working on it. We're continually working on those beliefs and all the ways it shows up. Another piece comes up, we're deconstructing it. Part of deconstructing it is showing up differently. Here's the toxic shame. I'm sorry you feel that way. Of course you feel that way. Look at all these neural pathways as to why you would feel that way. It's understandable. We're showing up for it. But on page, what was it? 249, he talks about eventually you don't continue that conversation because by having that conversation, you're saying that you are toxic shame. After we deconstruct it, this is the toxic shame. It doesn't have any of these neural pathways anymore, right? It's just the belief. This is a belief just like I'm a giraffe is a belief. I am toxic shame. I am bad. I am a giraffe. Same thing, no neural pathways. Would I spend time in my mind and with you guys trying to convince you that I'm not a giraffe? It'd be like, oh, someone thinks I'm a giraffe. Okay, oh well. No energy put into it. Because when we're putting energy into something, there's a piece of us that's identified with it. And so that's what he's saying. Now, I'm going to be dead honest. When I read that publication for the first time, I didn't understand that part. I couldn't wrap my mind around it until I deconstructed my toxic shame enough so that suddenly I could hear the story. And then I could be like he says in the book, who am I arguing with? You're so bad. No, I'm not. Who am I arguing with? Me? Why? Boom. And then you stop identifying with it. Does that make sense? However, when you first read that publication, and by the way, this is a great way to gauge your progress on yourself. So, for example, how much of the conversation are you hearing? How much of those two sides are you still hearing? I'm bad. No, I'm not. I love you. I love you. Because what recovery looks like is that conversation goes less and less. Okay. And then when this is here, sometimes something will happen and you'll feel it for a second, which means the belief just came up, boop. And then you're like, I'm a giraffe? No. Well, it's the same thing. I'm bad? No. And we put it aside. But again, when we have all of this, we can't. So if you struggle to be like, oh, I can't, how do I stop identifying with it? It's only because you still have some untangling to do. The more we untangle and the more we remove, we get down to just the belief.